response went by me standing up and saying thanks for coming again, and saying to them that we shouldn't need to be standing there, as Mr. Politician should be standing there, which brought me to my first point, to which I said, while we stand here today, our elected politicians stand somewhere else. This has been the case for many years. During the working week since leaving the army, I have been doing my research and the results have been pretty shocking. I've been attending some local MPs' offices, and what did I find? I found the politicians in it, which is where I believe the fundamental problem is. Why should I be walking into an MP's office and that MP, that politician, that councillor, why are they sitting in their office? Surely I shouldn't need to be going to them. Surely if I went into their office, somebody should be saying, oh, they're actually out doing their duties and they're actually going out and meeting the general public. Right, but then, a politician is an elected public figure who should be doing his and her public duties. These men and women should not have the time to sit in their office with a cup of tea and posting tweets. These people should be out in the streets, coming round to our homes and arranging different meetings and asking if there is any problems that they may need to put to task. And then I asked a question. I mingled with the crowd before I done my wee speech, and I said to them, how many of you guys know your local representatives and your various parties? Not one of them knew. Not one of them in Kilwinning knew. And it's probably the same detail for Glasgow, Edinburgh, all over Ayrshire. Alloa is probably the same. It's an absolute joke. So I personally think I found a fundamental problem with these politicians. But then I said, it's time that we, as individuals within the Protestant Loyalist community of Scotland, start applying direct pressure to these people trusted with our future. Regimental Blues will be applying that direct pressure to these politicians and getting them into open meetings and also getting out there earning that public funded wages that they do get, you know. It is all public funded wages because we vote them in. Then I said to them I would like to move on to Northern Ireland, just briefly. And then I said to them, every day we in the Protestant Loyalist community of Scotland are having to watch with disgust the mistreatment shown to our brethren in Northern Ireland. We watch daily how the justice system and political system fail them. We are seeing now the IRA at its best. I know I'm meant to say Sinn Féin, but myself, unlike the Republicans, I'm not a liar, so I'll call them for what they are, which is the IRA. Then I brought up a wee point by saying, how many politicians do you know that have blood in their hands? How many politicians do you know that know how to handle firearms? How many politicians do you know that know how to make bombs? And I asked Big Bomber Brown, and he said the answer that was on everybody's lips. We don't know any politicians that know how to do them. This sheer mockery of our political system must stop. These terrorists must not be allowed to continue their slick ways, because that's what we're seeing. We're seeing terrorism at its best. This war on terrorism was won. The terrorists were beaten. The war was won by the men and women in our community who took the fight into their own hands as no one else would do it for them. They alone won the war against IRA. Then this shambles came upon us in the terms of the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. Now those people that say British politics don't negotiate with terrorists, what do you call the Good Friday Agreement? I think the Good Friday Agreement is negotiating with terrorists. Personally, if you think about it, one way or another it's true. Then we come to the main factor of this agreement, the word shared. Our brethren were promised a hell of a lot and promised that from the agreement everything would be shared fairly. Even our communities here in Scotland and in Northern Ireland, we've both been lied to for years. And it's time that we rise as one solid, united body and take this challenge head on and win it, like we always have done. Our communities have both been promised a night out in the tiles by our politicians. We were told to give them the car keys and let them drive the car. We were promised a nice wee walk home, but when in reality what we had was a nightmare night out. We had a shite ride home and we were taken down a back alleyway and raped. But then, no more should we be getting raped by our politicians. They should be serving us the way a public representative should be serving us. We can defeat this political wing of the IRA. We just need to be clever about it and do things the long way. I contacted the Irish Embassy and I asked them to confirm their stance on a united Ireland. They wrote back to me and they said that they stick by their statement that was released in 2009 and they do not wish a united Ireland on the grounds that they do not think the economy of the Republic of Ireland could handle the extra land and running costs. So I think that's the first nail in the coffin when it comes to the IRA's political wing. Where's the answer for that one? I sent them a copy of the embassy letter and I've still not heard back. That was a week ago. My final point that I made was the SNP under Mr Salmond has thrown a huge bag of rubbish into our back garden, an unwanted bag of rubbish. Pick up the bag, throw it back on, tell him, I vote no to Scottish independence. I love Scotland too much to be a nationalist.
As we stand here now with our heads held high, protesting to have our voices heard. For many, many years they've cold-shouldered our fears and our tears for loved ones they ignore. No justice received, the poor people deceived. This process has brought them only hurt. Sinn Féin they will address, while Protestants suppress, to keep the sham agreement on track. As we stand here now with our heads held high, protesting to have our voices heard. They'll not admit their shame, the innocents lie slain. Their crime was to be a Protestant. Truth is what we earn. When will they ever learn that it's as simple as this? Say why you killed our kin, and then we can begin to build a future for us all. As we stand here now with our heads held high, protesting to have our voices heard. Their backs they cannot turn, our calls they cannot spurn. We need to have our day. Accountability is what poor people need, as proof their loved ones' deaths were not in vain. Stand up, admit your crime, and that may be the sign that peace is here and peace is here for all. As we stand here now with our heads held high, protesting to have our voices heard. Our culture they detest, for reasons I can test, for culture can do you no harm. Their clocks they will set, walk further to object than the poor people who have to pass them by. When sticks and stones they may well break your bones, but flutes will never harm you. As we stand here now with our heads held high, protesting to have our voices heard. Equality for all is what you hear them call, but they're practicing and preaching's not the same.
It's a place of great pain. It lies to the northland, and Ulster's its name. It has only 6 counties, but all are renowned, and its emblem is a red hand topped by the Queen's crown. Now the Germans came over in the year 41, and they in his own rebel town. He will speak of our friendship. How can we be one? Just to point to the red man, tapped by the Queen's crown. Say we're side by side with Scotland, and they won't let us down. Like I'm brothers and sisters, that is all toast is one. That is ring to our Ulster. It's heroes and sons, and while we are toasting to names we must join, that of William, Prince of our race, and the thanks of the boy.
To his son, oh my boy, the time has come. Our country